What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about my predictions for Warner Bros. At Summer Games Fest. So I've been asked about this a lot of times in multiple different videos in the comments, and I thought, you know what? This is a really good idea. So anybody that has, asked me to do something like this, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And here we go. So we've talked a little bit about Batman. I'm going to be going over that again. Again, these are just my predictions. These are just my thoughts as to what's going to happen. But I'm going to be going over what I think we'll see from all of the Warner Bros. Games. I'm going to try and nail as many as I can, and also what these games are, how they're going to do it, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so some of it will be repeated from past videos, but this is the one that I think is going to be the one that's going to put all of these games together. Okay, I think this is going to be really, really fun to do. Really, really quickly, want to promote the Discord. You guys have been joining by the masses. You guys truly, truly rock. We're gaining more people every single day. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to join our Discord, it'll be in the description below. Go ahead, knock yourselves out. An awesome community, honestly, though, an awesome community already there. And people very much willing to talk about all of these Warner Bros. Games with you. I'm on there as well. I pop in from time to time as well. All right, let's go over this. So, as always, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your predictions, your opinions on whether I'm right or wrong. And boy, people have those in the comments. But let's go over this. So, Warner Bros., they're in phase 1 of the Summer Games Fest. We talked about this in the Batman one, so this is going to be like the fastest part. I still believe that they are going to do an online show. I want them to do a literal show. So like half an hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, like some, in that range. I want that. Now, is it possible they don't do that? Is it possible they do a announcement or a reveal for each game separately and they stagger them throughout the months of the summer? So yes, Warner Bros. Is on phase 1 of Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest, but does that mean that all these games have to go before the end of June? No, it does not mean that. I think they all will be out or be announced by the end of the summer, but I don't think necessarily it's not confirmed, let's say, that they'll all be announced by the end of June. Batman is the one that I think needs to be announced the quickest, the soonest. So obviously if they do an online show, it makes the most sense for Batman, but if they're going to announce them separately, so that means Batman gets an announcement, then 3 weeks later, Rocksteady's game, they get an announcement, then 2 weeks later, Harry Potter, that gets an announcement. If they're going to do that, Batman should come first. I think it would come first and it will come first, and it would be the earliest. So sometime in June. I really don't think, yes, Jeff Keighley did actually say a few days ago that, or I think the Summer Games Fest said that, make sure you're notified for when they go live, because some of these reveals, some of these announcements, they're going to be, they're not going to give that big of a warning. They could be a couple hours before it happens, could also be a couple days. I think for something like a Warner Bros. Online show, they would tell us ahead of time, like, hey, get ready. Like, say on a Monday, they say, tune in next Monday. I think they would give us around a week, maybe a little bit less, but I don't think they would say, hey, tomorrow we're going to do this. I don't think they would give that short of time, but that's just something to keep in mind going forward, okay? So, again, I think those are 3 games. Really, really quickly, just to kind of get it out of the way, too, I do think there are going to be more games. I won't get super heavy into them just because this is mainly for those 3, but I do think it's possible we get another Middle-earth game. Monolith has been working on something for a long time. Is it a Superman game? Is it, which would be weird, right? There could be a Superman game being made by somebody. It could be Monolith, but it doesn't have to be. And also, from the job descriptions we have of the company, it does sound like it's still Middle-earth. It doesn't have to be, but it sounds like it. I do think we would get something like that. There were rumors, obviously, of a Hitman 3 that leaked that was going to be something they talked about, a Mortal Kombat like Game of the Year edition. So I think those games would also happen. I think a Hitman 3 would be actually a really, really big thing too, right? I mean, they haven't sold all that well, but they are pretty big games just in the general landscape of things. Obviously, we've heard leaks of Injustice 3, but I don't think we would see that. In fact, the leaks have even said we're not going to see that. And whether or not you believe the leaks or not, I think it is too soon. No matter what, I think it would be too soon to announce Injustice, so I don't think that's going to happen. So the big 3, Batman, Rocksteady, Harry Potter. Again, could they do it in an online show? Sure. In fact, that would be the number one thing I would want, right? But if they're going to do them individually, fine. If they're going to, have it your way, right? Warner Bros. You do it. You do you. We'll do us, and we'll just, be back here. For Batman, I think, like I've said numerous times, I think we're going to get a CG trailer. I think it's possible, depending on how the situation goes, we could see gameplay. We could see a developer, some sort of commentary, right? Because if you go back even to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I talked talked about, I think that's a really good kind of model to use as your own, right? Where they did the trailer. In fact, I mean, even the whole thing, we talked about that, right? The whole lead up, the whole, the graphic designer doing the thing on Photoshop, like leading into it, that was awesome. It was very different, very weird. I think first time something like that was really ever happened. Very cool. Very, very cool. And it got a lot of people engaged into that. Then they say, okay, trailer tomorrow. And then trailer came. It was amazing, right? And then what happened? The trailer came out, but at the exact same time, they had an 18-minute talk with the creative and the story director of the game, or the gameplay, two different directors of the game. And they talked about the trailer. It was 18 minutes. It was cool. It was interesting. I learned a lot about Vikings and basically their mindset of the game, right? And I think that's very important. And what else did we get during that time? Well, they explained some, kind of hidden things in the game, like what you can expect from the game. We didn't see those things, but they talked about it because they were put in the spotlight. And I think that's a really, really good idea. So could they do that for Batman? Yeah, I think something like that would actually work really well for Rocksteady because, again, if we're putting all these together, so this is kind of like the summary of Harry Potter, Batman, and Rocksteady's game. I've said I think that would work for those games. I've said that I don't think we're going to get all that much from those games. So again, I'm going to lay down that prediction. Rocksteady and Harry Potter, I really don't think we're going to get all that much. I think we'll get a trailer for both. Again, is it all at the same time? Is it during an online show, or do they get their own time? If they get their own announcement day, then maybe there's more pressure to do more, and in which case I'll change my mind. I'll change my prediction. Or, obviously I'll just be wrong, right? And then we can talk about. And you know what? At the end of the day, being wrong about this, about, if Rocksteady is just going to do a trailer versus if Rocksteady shows like 20 minutes of gameplay, I will gladly take the loss on that, right? I'll gladly be wrong to receive that. But I don't think that's going to happen just because it is further away. The push, as I've always said, is going to be on Batman. Yes, Harry Potter is such a different game. It's outside the mold. It's not a DC game, right? So it is just different. And it has its own fans. I think it also has a lot of fans that overlap. I think I found that really early on, even with the channel. Before I talked about Batman nonstop, I really talked about Harry Potter. Not nonstop, but I talked about Harry Potter, and then I noticed a good amount of those, the community would watch the Batman stuff. So I noticed an overlap. I think there is an overlap there. I also do recognize that at the end of the day, there are people that are just for Batman. There's people that are just for Harry Potter. I understand that. I also think that as we get closer, and even when Harry Potter does get announced, there's going to be a whole new wave that we haven't seen yet of fans of Harry Potter come online, like join the community. They're going to appear, and it's going to be a pretty big number. They're going to be as big as Batman, because again, when Batman gets announced and when Rocksteady's game gets announced, all of a sudden you're going to have all these DC fans, all of the old-time Batman Arkham game fans, they're all going to come back, right? So it's going to be really fun. There's going to be a massive community really for all three of these games. Obviously, the Rocksteady and Warner Bros. Montreal game, that community, that fandom is pretty much the exact same one, right? They're the exact same group. So it's going to be really, really fun. But I do think those two, Rocksteady and Harry Potter, are not going to get much. Again, if they're on their own, maybe they would. But I do think, again, the Assassin's Creed approach, where you show a CG trailer and then you have them maybe talk about it in a different video, I think that makes the most sense because they are further out. I do not see Harry Potter releasing this year. I think there's been a push all of a sudden that this could happen. I just really don't think so. Could it? Yeah, technically. But would you want Harry Potter and Batman? Now, okay, a weird question. I understand it. Like, as a gamer, obviously, we want Harry Potter and Batman. I'd buy both of those on the same day. And I don't know which game I'd play first, but I would buy both of them on the same day. But as a company, as Warner Bros., would you want both those games out there around the same time as we're transitioning consoles, when people aren't going to have a lot of money, when the economy is, who knows where it is right now and by the time we get next-gen consoles? So do you want those games releasing? And at the end of the day, Warner Bros. Just doesn't do that. Warner Bros. Doesn't put out two massive games of theirs at the same time. Lego Star Wars doesn't count. Okay, you can have Lego Star Wars and Batman release in the same month and it won't matter, right? But Batman and Harry Potter, say, release same month, even a month and a half apart, that's a lot. That's a lot for Warner Bros. To do. That's a lot that they would be expecting on the consumers that I just don't think ultimately is going to happen. So again, for those two games, I don't think we're going to get a lot, but I think a trailer is pretty darn, likely. I don't know if we would get like a 2021 date. I think it's becoming more and more clear, in my opinion. These are just my opinions, right? These are just my thoughts. I really do think Rocksteady's game would be next year because, again, you have to also think, Warner Bros. Montreal has been in a lot of trouble and they've messed up quite a bit. But Rocksteady, it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years since Arkham Knight. Next month, it's been 5 years. So by the time we get their game, if it's Suicide Squad, if it's Justice League, if it's an online-only game, whatever game it is, if it comes out next summer, like next June, let's say, that's 6 years after Arkham Knight. So it's been a very, very long time. I don't think they can go longer either. So I think their game is very, very close. I think Harry Potter is close too. I think Harry Potter would release next fall of 2021. So we're not all that far from getting things on these games. I just think to start, it would just be reveal trailers, right? An announcement trailer, CG, maybe a discussion with the developers, and then move on. For Batman, like I've said, I do expect more. It's confusing. I know I kind of go back on myself a lot, but I'm just because depending on how Warner Bros. Does this, there's different options for how they can do Batman. But I think at the end of the day, you need to show more than just a trailer. You look at a lot of games that come out in short, periods of time from when they're announced to when they release. They show a lot, and not necessarily too much, but they do show a good amount. And now, is that right away, or do they take a month off? Do they announce their game? Do they go silent for a month? It also depends on when it's happening. So if the game gets announced in June and it comes out, say, late October, do they go dark for July, which I think they would. I honestly feel like they would go dark for like July and half of August, and then maybe like late August they come to life and they say, all right, we're going to start really pushing this game. And again, like they're not going to say that. What does that mean? Well, it means they're literally not going to talk. There's not going to be much stuff out there. There'll be rumors, there'll be leaks, there'll be speculation, but then after that, when they come back online, they'll have gameplay. They'll have different interviews with people, stuff like that. And that's when we'll get a lot of information about the game, and it'll ramp up. Every game really does that. They ramp up leading into the game releasing. Every movie does that, right? There's more trailers, there's more TV spots leading into when they release. This is just a thing that happens generally in the entertainment industry. So still, though, for Batman, if it gets announced and it comes out 4 months later, I think it's possible we get maybe a CG trailer and then we get like something else, like a trailer, like another kind of CG trailer but mixed with a gameplay, or maybe they just skip CG altogether and it's just a trailer that has gameplay elements. It says like captured, in the engine, like captured on PS4 Pro, or whatever they do. Something like that. I think that's possible. But yet again, they really like their CG trailers, right? And it always gets us pumped as fans too. So I think that's possible. They need to show more though. I think they need to show. You can't come out of this with just a trailer for all three, especially because of Batman. Batman needs to have more there, whether maybe the other two just get trailers and Batman gets a trailer and then maybe like a developer interview like with somebody in Warner Bros. Montreal. Maybe that's the case, but I think they definitely just need to have more there for Batman, again, because it is the closest game. And even like we've said, and I don't want to start getting in this conversation, but yeah, is it possible it gets delayed out of the fall? Sure, but still it's the closest game of the three. So even if you guys don't believe it's coming out the fall and you think, okay, well, it's been pushed to the spring, as long as you think that and you don't think, well, this game's 5 years away, in which case I'm not the right person for you to be listening to. It's not the right channel to be on right now. But if you think that it's just been delayed a little bit, well, it's still the closest game. And I still think they're going to push and promote the closest game first. So even if it is delayed, even if it comes out 7-8 months after it gets announced and not 4, it's still the first game of the 3. It's still going to come before Rocksteady's game. And so I think it is still going to get the spotlight. So hopefully that cleared up some things. Now you guys know in one put together video where I stand basically on Harry Potter, on Batman, and on Rocksteady's game, which I do still believe is either Justice League or Suicide Squad. I think I've kind of landed in that realm. Now you guys know what I think. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? When do you think these games are going to get announced? What do you think they will show for all 3 of them? Let me know. Make sure, as always, you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And thank you guys so much for watching. I truly, truly appreciate it. New Batman videos every couple days. We'll continue talking about Harry Potter. We'll continue talking about Rocksteady as we get very, very close. If anything happens in regards to Warner Bros., obviously I would make a video, that very second that it happens, okay? So definitely, if you guys come here for the news, for the up-to-date stuff, I will obviously be continuing that as well, okay? Thank you again for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.